Welcome back to FPL with West. It's game week 4, and if you're planning to use your wildcard, I think I got you covered from the best goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and the strikers. Let's start with the goalkeepers. I have two goalkeepers. First goalkeeper is David Raya. So David Raya, by the way, I'm picking these players based on their next 5 EPL fixtures. So David Raya, Arsenal will play against Nottingham Forest, Man City, Newcastle, West Ham, and Fulham. I think David Raya will display a good performance against those five clubs. That's why I'm suggesting him as the best goalkeeper to use in the wild card game week 4. Another goalkeeper that I'm thinking about Vicario of Tottenham. Based on their next 5 EPL fixtures, I think Vicario will perform. They will play against West Ham, Brighton, Wolverhampton, Leeds, and Aston Villa. Going to defenders, have 4 options. So I think when it comes to defender, I'll pick first Maguire as my first option. In their next 5 fixtures, they will play against Sunderland, West Ham, Liverpool, and Everton and Bournemouth. So I think that's the right one. And I think Maguire might he might score, or might give out an assist, but above all, he's a good defender. So Maguire is my first option. My second option in defense, I think I have still Tottenham. I'm considering Tottenham based on their next 5 EPL fixtures. They don't have that stiff Premier League fixtures, and I'm thinking they might win a lot of games in the next 5 Premier League fixtures. So I'm picking Mickey van de Ven. Mickey van de Ven, if you see Tottenham, they will play against their next game. They will play against West Ham, Brighton, Wolverhampton, Leeds, and Aston Villa. That's why I chose also Vicario, because I believe that Tottenham is a good team and they might keep maybe 3 clean sheets out of those 5 upcoming Premier League fixtures. Third defender that I'm thinking about, I'm going with Bafode Diakite of Bournemouth. The next game they will play against Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, and Fulham and Crystal Palace. I think maybe Crystal Palace might bring a lot of problem to them, but apart from those, I don't see them conceding much goals. Plus, Bafode Diakite is a good defender. He might give out an assist, or maybe he might score an header. Yeah, that's why I'm going with Bafode Diakite as my third defense option. The last defense option that I'm thinking about still comes from Tottenham. Of course, I'm talking about Pedro Porro. So if you're using wildcard this week, you might consider maybe 2 or maybe 1 of those defenders that I've mentioned, or maybe 1 goalkeeper that I've mentioned. But I think Pedro Porro is good. So Pedro Porro, considering he has been good, he can give out an assist and he can score and defend at the same time. So I'm going with Pedro Porro as my 4th defense option. Yeah, so because the next 5 Premier League matches, they will play against West Ham, Brighton, Wolverhampton, and Leeds and Aston Villa. So I think Pedro Porro, and I think Tottenham is a good club this season. So Pedro Porro might keep a clean sheet. Picking him in your wildcard squad in game week 4 might be one of the best options you've ever done. So consider it. I think he's a good player, according to me. I think Pedro Porro is one of a kind. Going into the midfield option, I think the first player that I think about is Mohamed Salah. Of course, Mohamed Salah is a winger, but in my FPL team, I place him as a midfielder. So first midfield option, I'll go with Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah has been one of the best players. Of course, the highest rated player in FC26. He's a good option. I don't need to talk about him. Their next 5 Premier League fixtures, Liverpool will play against Burnley, Everton, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and Man United. And if you look at the history, the player that have scored most goals against Manchester United in the Premier League right now is Mohamed Salah. So I think picking Mohamed Salah into your squad will be the best option. Yeah, so Mohamed Salah is one of the best. Another midfield option, I'll go with Enzo Fernandez of Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez has been good, underrated, has been giving me a lot of points. I think in game week 3, Enzo Fernandez gave me, I think, 10 points. Yeah. In game week 2, he gave me, I think, 12 points. He has been good. So consider taking Enzo Fernandez as your midfield option. Their next 5 Premier League matches, they play against Brentford, Man United, Brighton, Liverpool, and Nottingham Forest. I don't see it as a tough fixture for Chelsea this season, so that's why I'm picking Enzo Fernandez as my midfield option. Another midfield option, I'll go with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, I think he was awful at Man City, but then After joining Everton, bro has been a beast. He has been delivering assists left, right, and center. And maybe I'm thinking that in game week 4, maybe he might give an assist and score. So I'm thinking Jack Grealish as my midfield option. He only costs 6.7 M. Yeah, so the next 5 Premier League fixtures they play against Aston Villa, Liverpool, West Ham. My time. Liverpool is a tough option, but all in all, West Ham, Crystal Palace, and Man City. But I think all in all, Jack Grealish is a beast, and Jack Grealish is just Jack Grealish. So he has to deliver, and he will deliver. So consider picking him as your midfield option. Another midfield option, I'm going with an unpopular opinion. I think I'll go with Xavi Simons of Tottenham still, because I've talked about Tottenham fixtures, and I feel like Tottenham don't have like that stiff fixtures. And I feel Xavi Simons from the RB Leipzig days, he has been a good player. Chelsea wanted him but never signed him. But I think Xavi Simons is a good player, so consider taking him into your squad in game week 4 if you're using a wild card. So I've talked about the goalkeeper, midfielders, defenders, so you can pick the best players that I've talked about. It's not a must that you pick all players, but you can pick maybe the best options that you think are good for you, and also the players that are fitting your price. And now the last thing, let's talk about the striker. This is where a lot of people are confused. You don't know who to keep, who to sell, who to buy. And I think I got the best video for you. So the first option, I think about Hugo Ekitike. I know a lot of people are thinking of Isaac. Isaac is good, but I don't think Isaac is going to get a full game time in game week 4 at Liverpool. So Isaac is good, but I think plus Isaac has not been training before even joining Liverpool. He has not been training with Newcastle. He has been training solo, so maybe might affect his gameplay in maybe the next 2 game weeks. So that's why I'm picking Hugo Ekitike. Considering Liverpool's next 5 fixtures, Hugo Ekitike will play against Burnley. He will deliver. He will play against Everton. He must deliver. He will play against Crystal Palace. He must deliver. He will play against Man United and Chelsea. He has to deliver. So I think my first striking options, if you're using wildcard, consider picking Hugo Ekitike. Another striker that I'm thinking of is João Pedro. I think João Pedro has been good, considering Delap right now has an injury, but João Pedro is there and stepping up for Chelsea in the big way. So I think my second striking option will be João Pedro. João Pedro in the next 5 fixtures, they will play against Brentford, Man United, Brighton, Liverpool, and Nottingham Forest. So that's why I'm thinking of João Pedro plus. He has been lethal. He has been scoring left, right, and center, scoring a header. I think no caption needed. So João Pedro is João Pedro. Go for one João Pedro if you're thinking of a striker option. Another attack option that a lot of people dismiss, but I think is good and so cheap, is Richarlison. Go for Richarlison if you're using wildcard in game week 4, because Richarlison, I think Richarlison has a lot of potential this season. Of course, if you don't get an injury this season, he'll be one of the top scorers in the Premier League this season. So Richarlison will play against West Ham, Brighton, Wolverhampton, Leeds, and Aston Villa. And I feel those are not the tough opponents for Richarlison. So go for Richarlison if you're thinking of another striker. Another striker that will surprise people is Victor Gyökeres. So if you're using wildcard in game week 4, consider picking Victor Gyökeres into your squad, because Arsenal will play against Nottingham Forest, Man City, Newcastle, West Ham, and Fulham. Victor Gyökeres has already scored his Premier League brace, and I feel in their next 5 Premier League fixtures, will be one of the best players to watch. The last attack option that I want to talk about before wrapping it up is Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is a beast. Just recently scored 5 goals in a single match for Norway. So if you're thinking of a best striker to use in game week 4, if you're using wildcard, I think go for Erling Haaland. But Erling Haaland is too expensive for. I don't think you can have Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland, 2 people in your squad, or rather you can have them, but now purchase a lot of awful players, because Erling Haaland is too expensive. I think Erling Haaland right now is 14 million. I think that's too expensive. Tell me what you think about the price in the comment section. I think the price is too expensive for Erling Haaland. But Erling Haaland is a beast. So if you're considering, if you're thinking about the striker option in game week 4, you're using a wild card, I think you can consider Erling Haaland, because in their next 5 fixtures, they have Man United, Arsenal, Burnley, Brentford, and Everton. And if you check at Erling Haaland first game against Man United in the English Premier League, he scored a hat-trick. So Erling Haaland always have, that good luck when he plays against Man United. So I think if you're looking for the striker option, I think Erling Haaland is the best option for you. So guys, that's my wild card choices in game week 4. So you can consider maybe picking the best players out of the all players that I've mentioned. So that's it. Like, share, and subscribe.